Find it all just ridiculous that people think that they need to be our moral guardians on drinking. And I expect somebody somewhere says, oh, so many millions or billions of pounds is lost to UK productivity because of alcohol. Alcohol increases productivity because it helps shy and lonely people have sex, which increases the number of people in the world.
That's the argument you're going for. To keep our beloved pint, its birth rate is what we're going for.
Yes, essentially, the birth rate apparently needs to increase, and beer can help with that.
Cutting down on booze is a big thing we talk about a lot in this program. We talk about the health of the nation and ways of managing it, how much the state should intervene. We talked a bit about that yesterday. Well, no one wants to ban drinking, but what if there are ways of nudging people to drink less? Researchers in Cambridge got pubs to swap pint measures of beer for 2/3 of a pint. They found that it led to people drinking less. So is it time to contemplate phasing out the pint? We genuinely thought, who's the best person to answer that question? And the first person we actually suggested was James May, the television presenter who owns a pub. James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We had you down as a pint man and frothing with anger at the notion of your beloved pint being taken out of your cold, dead hands. How actually do you feel about it?
Well, I am a pint man. I don't only drink beer, though. Other drinks are available, like spirits and wine, which come in different shaped glasses. I don't. I mean, maybe research can show that changing the shape of the glass reduces the amount of beer people drink. But I don't know why everybody's so concerned about it. We had this from the government 3 or 4 years ago. They said that wine glasses in pubs should be smaller, but that doesn't change the amount. You don't fill a glass with wine anyway. I find it all just ridiculous that people think that they need to be our moral guardians on drinking. And I expect somebody somewhere says, oh, so many millions or billions of pounds is lost to UK productivity because of alcohol. Alcohol increases productivity because it helps shy and lonely people have sex, which increases the number of people in the world.
That's the argument you're going for. To keep our beloved pint, its birth rate is what we're going for.
Yes, essentially, the birth rate apparently needs to increase, and beer can help with that.
Is there something about a pint? Because some are going to say they're from Australia. I think they say Australians drink schooners, which is a bit less than a pint, and they say that's a good amount. Half pint's too much, too little. A pint too much. Something nice in the middle is a good idea.
Well, to be honest, I sometimes struggle with this because I find with ale, not so much with lagers, but with ale, a pint, if you're not a very quick drinker, can seem like too much.
Yeah.
Because it started to actually lose its flavour by the time you get 2/3 of the way down. That's why the sort of beer bores, like the camera people and the connoisseurs, they tend to drink it in halves, so they can refresh it more often. So there are good drinking reasons for having a different sized glass, but I don't think reducing how much beer people actually drink is one of them, because I don't think it's anybody else's business. I'm too old to really take an ethical view on this. I just think start off and let me have a beer.
Start off and let me have a beer is probably a way. I think many people react to that. Do you serve many half pints? Because they're funny drink. They're funny drinks as well. Half pints, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are funny. It is a. I mean, the pint is a pretty archaic volume anyway. Really, I don't actually know. I don't have any statistics on how many halves we sell, but it must be a few because we've got quite a few half pint glasses, and they seem to be in use.
I never see. It's also there's a lot of jokes about people who drink half pints. So I was going to just say, could we have beer with less alcohol in it? I remember beers, says Ken, having a volume of 3 to 4%, so people didn't get so drunk after a few pints. Drinks like mild. Nowadays, lagers are all over 5%. Have you noticed that people drink stronger beer these days?
Well, yes, actually, I have some sympathy with that because I mean, there's a place for strong beers because people enjoy the flavours and so on. But I think your general, what's often referred to as a session beer, i.e., your coughing of an evening after work beer, should be for a bitter typically 3.5 to 3.8%. The point is those slightly less strong beers hark back to a time when people in Britain had an industrial thirst and it needed slaking with beer. So you might have 5 pints to get rid of all the coal dust or consumption in your throat, but you can't really do that with a beer that's 6 or 7% because you'll be on the deck or having a fight. Yeah. So yes, I think slightly weaker beers, but there's also a bit of a trend for so-called table beers, which are 1 and a bit percent. Now these are supposed to be beers that you have instead of wine with your food because they are they are infinitely quaffable again without leaving you under the table. I think that's perfectly fine as long as there's a choice. I wouldn't get that worked up about what size glass it comes in though, because if it's a smaller glass and you want more beer, you can still have more.
I think that when you boil it right down, that's probably exactly right. James, great to speak to you. Thank you for joining us.
No, pleasure. Thank you.
That's James May, the television presenter, owns a pub. Peter makes the same point. Thirsty is thirsty. Make the glass as small as you like, and I'll just